Welcome to Quiet Money, a space to slow down, to think deeply about money, time, and the way we live. Let this be something you can play in the background, something to breathe with, something to sink into, slowly. Because today, we're going to explore something that feels almost forgotten in the modern world. A skill that looks simple from the outside, yet quietly shapes every financial life from the inside. Let me begin with a question. Why do some people create wealth? Not quickly, not loudly, but almost inevitably. Why is it that their money seems to grow the way trees do, softly, silently, almost invisibly at first, until one day it becomes impossible to ignore? Most people assume the answer is luck, intelligence, or a secret method they weren't taught. But often, it's none of that. Often, the difference comes down to something much quieter and much rarer. Patience, financial patience, not waiting, not doing nothing, but the art of allowing time to do what force cannot. The wealthy understand something most people never learn. That money, like nature, operates according to seasons, not urgency, and in a world built on speed, the patient become powerful. Today, we'll explore why. Financial patience sounds simple, almost too simple, like a soft word meant for calm conversations and gentle mornings, but its history runs deep. Long before stock markets, long before interest rates, long before financial systems existed, wealth was built through time. Farmers waited for harvests, craftsmen waited for mastery, merchants waited for long journeys and slow returns, families waited generations to build stability. Wealth was never a quick transaction. It was a rhythm, a relationship, a long, slow unfolding. But today, something has shifted. We live in a world designed to erase patience, to reward speed, to glorify urgency, to compress decades into days. You're encouraged to want everything now, results now, success now, progress now, even if rushing costs you the very future you're trying to build. Yet, quietly, beneath all the noise, the people who truly grow wealth still follow an ancient rule. Money moves slowly, but steadily, if you let it. This is the heart of financial patience. And the more you understand it, the easier wealth becomes. Patience feels uncomfortable because the mind seeks certainty. It wants to see progress, to measure it, to hold it. But financial growth rarely appears quickly, especially in the beginning. It's like planting a seed. At first, it looks like nothing is happening. Days pass, weeks, maybe even months, and the soil looks the same. But beneath it, unseen roots are forming. Money behaves the same way. The early phase feels empty, quiet, invisible. But this is where strength is created. The wealthy don't panic during this stage. They understand something fundamental. Time is not the enemy. Impatience is when most people don't see fast results. They switch strategies. They pull money out. They chase something new. They abandon the process. And in doing so, they break the compound cycle before it ever begins. The wealthy hold, they stay, they commit, not because they're reckless, but because they understand the rhythm of time. They know that most of the growth happens quietly, long before it becomes visible. We often imagine wealth arriving through big wins, a big investment, a big idea, a big moment, but wealth rarely works that way. More often, it grows like dust, collecting on a surface, so gradually that you barely notice it, until one day it's unmistakable. Small, daily decisions, a dollar protected, a purchase avoided, a habit improved, a plan followed. Together, they create something enormous. The wealthy think in these small increments. They see time as a multiplier, not a container. To them, the question isn't, how fast can I get rich, but rather, how long can I let this grow? Their focus isn't on urgency, it's on alignment. They choose actions that age well, decisions that deepen with time, efforts that accumulate. Compounding is often described as a math principle, but it's much more than that. It's a patience principle. Compounding rewards the calm, it amplifies the steady, it elevates the disciplined. A small amount of money with enough time outperforms a large amount with no patience. This is why the wealthy cherish long horizons. They think in decades, not days. They see the future not as a distant place, but as a partner. The longer the timeline, the larger the reward. Financial patience isn't waiting for the future, it's working with the future. It's letting time become your silent employee. People misunderstand delayed gratification. They think it means deprivation, suffering now to enjoy later. But true financial patience isn't about restriction, it's about choice. It's the ability to separate desire from impulse, to breathe between want and action, to give yourself space to choose what truly matters. The wealthy aren't immune to desire. They simply don't rush to satisfy it. They understand that a moment of craving can cost a year of progress. So they pause, reflect, decide intentionally. Patience creates freedom. Freedom to choose without pressure. Freedom to invest without fear. Freedom to build without distraction. Financial patience is not just behavioral, it's emotional. Markets rise and fall. Trends come and go. News cycles create storms of fear and excitement. Most people react emotionally, buying when they feel inspired, selling when they feel scared. But wealthy thinkers act differently. They detach, observe, wait. They anchor themselves in long-term truth, not short-term emotion. Emotional patience is the shield that protects long-term decisions from short-term noise. Here is something few people talk about. Financial patience is not something you do. It's someone you become. It's a shift in identity, a transformation of how you see yourself. Most people identify as spenders, or hustlers, or opportunists. But the wealthy identify as builders. Builders think in stages, in seasons, in years. They understand that everything meaningful, wealth, health, mastery, stability, takes time to mature. When you identify as a builder, patience becomes natural. You no longer need fast results, because you trust the long arc of effort. There is a hidden peace inside financial patience, a calmness that many seek but few find. When you stop rushing money, you stop rushing life. You stop comparing timelines. You stop forcing outcomes. You stop fearing the pace of progress. Patience teaches you to honor seasons, to respect pace, to trust the unfolding. Wealth is not a race. It's a rhythm. Some days are for movement, some for stillness, some for planting, some for waiting. Financial patience reconnects you with these natural rhythms. It reminds you that slow does not mean stagnant. Quiet does not mean inactive. Stillness does not mean failure. Time is not running out. It is accumulating, just like your wealth. Just like your wisdom, just like your life. Patience is the art of letting things mature, without forcing them to bloom. There is a moment in every financial journey when the impatience of the world begins to lose its influence, when noise becomes background, when urgency becomes optional, and when you discover something important about yourself, that your life does not need to move at the speed of other people's expectations. This is where financial patience deepens, not in the numbers you save, but in the space you create around those numbers. Most people misunderstand this space. They fill it with worry, comparison, pressure, and the belief that progress must always look dramatic. They measure success by movement, by evidence they can see. But wealth doesn't grow in evidence. It grows in the invisible spaces, in the time you allow your money to rest, in the silence where ideas form, in the discipline of consistency, in the stillness that protects long-term decisions. Patience is the shelter above all of this. It lets small actions survive long enough to become meaningful. Think of a tree. The world sees the trunk, the branches, the leaves, but the tree's true strength lives underground, in the roots that took years to form, that no one applauded, no one celebrated, no one even noticed. Financial patience is the same. Your roots grow in private, your progress forms quietly, your habits take shape away from attention, and yet these hidden pieces hold the entire structure of your future life. The wealthy understand this hidden architecture. They don't rush to show results. They don't panic at slow beginnings. They don't need the world to watch them grow. They know that true wealth grows inward before it grows outward. It forms in perspective, in discipline, in restraint, in the gentle accumulation of good choices made over long periods of time. And here's something most people never realize. Financial patience is not passive, it's deeply active. It requires emotional regulation. It demands clarity of intention. It forces you to separate what is urgent from what is important. It asks you to sit with discomfort, the discomfort of waiting, of uncertainty, of trusting the process when the process moves slowly. But this discomfort is not a sign something is wrong. It's a sign something is working. The wealthy do not interpret slow progress as failure. They interpret it as foundation. They see volatility not as danger but as a natural part of the cycle. They view boredom not as a problem but as evidence of stability. They understand that what feels uneventful in the moment often becomes life-changing in hindsight. There is also a spiritual dimension to financial patience, a sense of faith in your own path, an understanding that not everything must happen now for everything to eventually work. Patience teaches you that timing matters, that success needs room to breathe, that growth has its own internal calendar, which cannot be rushed, manipulated, or forced. And when you let go of rushing, you make space for something far more powerful. Alignment. Aligned actions compound. Aligned habits sustain. Aligned decisions last. You don't need perfect choices. You only need consistent ones that you are willing to keep long enough to let time transform them. And that quietly, gently, is how wealth is built. Financial patience is not the absence of action. It is the presence of clarity. It is moving with intention, choosing with wisdom, and trusting the slow, steady expansion that time provides. When you practice financial patience, you stop chasing wealth and start growing it. You stop reacting and start creating. You stop forcing and start allowing. Because in the end, wealth is not just measured in money. It's measured in calmness, in perspective, in the ability to wait for what is truly worth waiting for. Time will shape your wealth. In the same way it shapes nature. Quietly, gently, consistently. All you need is patience. If you enjoy calm reflections about wealth, subscribe for more. And if this message resonated with you, share your thoughts below. Your perspective might be the reflection someone else needs. So long, my friends.